to this particular emergency, although limited until a tribunal has examined the position and until the negotiations now proceeding have reached their conclusion, such an assurance would, I believe, do a great deal to stabilize the position in Europe, and I cannot see that it would very seriously add to our risks. I must say that I myself have not felt during this crisis that there is an immediate danger of a major land war breaking out over Czechoslovakia. I know it is very rash to make such a statement, but when there is so much natural but misdirected alarm in the country, now on one point and now on another, one must run some risks in stating one's honest opinion. At any rate, that is the assumption on which I base my argument this afternoon, and I will give my reasons to the House. The first reason is that, in the opinion of many good judges, Germany is not ready this year for such an ordeal as a major land war. The second reason carries more conviction to me, because obviously the first is based upon facts which one cannot measure and secrets which one cannot probe. It is that I cannot see that it would be to the interest of the rulers of Germany to provoke such a war. Are they not getting all they want without it? Are they not achieving a long succession of most important objectives without firing a single shot? Is there any limit to the economic and political pressure which, without actually using military force, Germany will be able to bring to bear upon this unhappy state? She can be convulsed politically, she can be strangled economically, she is practically surrounded by superior forces, and, unless something is done to mitigate the pressure of circumstances, she will be forced to make continuous surrenders far beyond the bounds of what any impartial tribunal would consider just or right, until finally her sovereignty, her independence, her integrity have been destroyed. Why, then, should the rulers of Germany strike a military blow? Why should they incur the risk of a major war? Moreover, I think it is to be considered that there are other, even more tempting lines of advance open to Germany's ambitions. A serious disturbance among the Hungarian population in the Roumanian province of Transylvania might offer a pretext for the entry of German troops at a Hungarian invitation or without it. Then all the possibilities of the oil and food of Roumania would be open. Here again force may be avoided, and virtual annexation may be veiled in the guise of a compulsory alliance. In the meantime, the control of Vienna enables the economic fortunes of all the states of the Danubian basin to be manipulated, exploited, and controlled so as to favor German designs and for the benefit of German finance, trade, and arms. Why, then, should Germany go to the one place where she would encounter the veto of France and of Russia, which has also made definite assurances? I do not think the government would have run very much risk if they had added the full force of Great Britain to the French declaration about Czechoslovakia. They would not greatly have increased their commitments, and they would have made assurance double sure. But the story of this year is not ended at Czechoslovakia. It is not ended this month. The might behind the German dictator increases daily. His appetite may grow with eating. The forces of law and freedom have for a long time known nothing but rebuffs, failures, and humiliations. Their influence would be immensely increased by any signs of concerted action and initiative and combination. The fact that Britain and France combined together at such a moment in such a cause would give them the strength and authority that they need in order to convince wavering states that they might find a good company of determined people to whom they might join themselves upon the basis of the covenant and in accordance with its principles. On the morrow of such a proof of unity as could be given between Great Britain and France, we might be able to make such an arrangement, or begin to make it, for the effective fulfilment of the covenant. We might have a group of powers, as it were, mandatories of the League, who would be the guardians of civilization, and once this was set up strong and real, it would liberate us, at least over a long period, from the torments of uncertainty and anxiety which we now have to endure. Joint action on this occasion would make easier and safer the problem of dealing with the next occasion. If successful, it would certainly pave the way to more effective joint action in the enforcement of the non-intervention policy in Spain. Nations that have joined together to meet one particular emergency may well find, when they look around, that they have assembled forces sufficient to deal with other emergencies not yet before us, and thus we may gather an ever-growing company, ranged under standards of law and justice, submitting themselves to principles that they are ready to enforce, and thus, by military and moral means combined, we may once more regain the ascendant and the initiative for the free peoples of the world and throughout the empire. Do not let anyone suppose that this is a mere question of hardening one's heart and keeping a stiff upper lip, and standing by to see Czechoslovakia pole-axed or tortured as Austria has been. Something more than that particular kind of fortitude will be needed from us. It is not only Czechoslovakia that will suffer. Look at the states of the Danube basin. First and foremost there is Yugoslavia. That is a most powerful and virile state, 3/4 of whose martial people are undoubtedly in the fullest sympathy with the democracy of France and Great Britain, and are animated by an ardent hatred of Nazi or Fascist rule. They have a rooted desire to maintain themselves in their independence. Is nothing being done to ascertain what Yugoslavia would do, assuming that Great Britain and France were prepared to interest themselves in the problems of the Danube basin? Yugoslavia might well be gained, and I am told that the effect of that on Bulgaria would probably be to draw her into the same orbit. Then there is Roumania, so directly menaced by the potential German movement to the east. These 3 countries, if left alone, and convinced that there is no willpower operating against the dictators, will fall one by one into the Nazi grip and system. What then will be the position of Greece and Turkey? I ask these questions hoping that they may be carefully considered. Is it not possible that decided action by France and Great Britain would rally the whole of these 5 states as well as Czechoslovakia, all of whom have powerful armies, who together aggregate 75 million of people, who have several millions of fighting men already trained, who have immense resources, who all wish to dwell in peace within their habitations, who individually may be broken by defeat and despoiled, but who, united, constitute an immense resisting power? Can nothing be done to keep them secure and free, and to unite them in their own interests, in French and British interests, and above all in the interests of peace? Are we really going to let the whole of these tremendous possibilities fall away without a concerted effort of any kind? If we do, let us not suppose for a moment that we shall ourselves have escaped our perils. On the contrary, we shall have multiplied our perils for a very obvious reason. At present, Germany might contemplate a short war, but once she has laid hands on these countries and extended her power to the Black Sea, the Nazi regime will be able to feed itself indefinitely, however long war may last, and thus we may weaken the deterrent force against war of that blockade to which the honorable